Hi, Coach Shawn here. In this video, I want to talk about, are you a recovering narcoholic? I know that sounds kind of interesting, but this is what I think about it. I do coach clients who have dated one narcissist after another. And although now I think as we get older, we don't have the tendency to do that anymore, we have learned. But also, if we were married to one for a long time or dated one for a long time, we tend to see the signs a lot quicker because we know what to look for. But one of the things I like to talk about is why you ended up with a narcissist to begin with, and that all stems from childhood. Many of us were either grew up in a narcissistic type of family, someone who rated high on the narcissism scale, or our moms a lot of times were borderline. There's a lot of studies out there that say women tend to be borderline and men tend to be narcissistic or narcissists. And if you grew up in a household like that, although borderlines are not evil and they do have a conscience, narcissists are evil. They're part of the dark triad. They don't have a conscience. But nonetheless, you started dating somebody like that because it felt comfortable to you. Someone who grew up in a healthy family system would look at someone like that and run. They would say, no, this person's not healthy and I don't want to date this person. But if you grew up in a household where you were around, gaslighting and manipulation and lying and deceit and someone who told half-truths and whatever, that's normal to you. And so you don't question it quite as much. If you grew up in a normal, healthy household, you would see the red flags right away and you would leave. You would be immune to love bombing and that kind of thing. But if you grew up in a house that was dysfunctional and you're used to seeing somebody, maybe if you grew up in borderline, you could watch somebody go from 0 to 60 very quickly. If you grew up with somebody that was narcissistic, obviously they were quite selfish and you watched them treat your other parent almost at times with contempt. Definitely they were always lying, always some kind of chaos going on in your house. They were very controlling, especially over finances and money. They were very enmeshed a lot of times in your life as a child. Anyway, I could go on and on and on about that. But the reason you ended up with this person was because it was very familiar to you. And then I want to talk about the trauma bond. The trauma bond is the absolute worst type of attachment attachment disease, how about that you could have with someone, because you're being abused by this person and then they'll show you moments of real care and love. They can say horrible things to you like, I wish we lived in a different country so I could beat you. And then for your 50th birthday, take you out to a beautiful restaurant and buy you something and treat you with such kindness. And then, just a week later, treat you with such contempt again. And that up and down, that's what a trauma bond, you're traumatized, and then you are bonded to the person that you're with. And it's trauma is what it is. It messes with your ability to be able to think correctly about the situation because your mind wants to love this person. You love this person. So you're kind of excusing the abusive, evil behavior, and then they'll be kind to you. And so you say, well, this person they didn't mean it, and they really do love me and they really do care about me, but they don't. Trust me, that the cruelness and the evilness, that's who they really are. And the person that you see that is buying you gifts or apologizing or telling you they won't do it again or whatever it is, that's not the real person. This person is. But your brain can't understand this because you're normal, whatever that is, healthy, normal. You don't think like that. And so in your mind, you can't possibly reason why someone would say and do these things. So you say, well, they were just angry, or they can't really be like that. Nobody could really be that cruel, but they really are that cruel. This person is the fake person, but that trauma bond is another reason why you're a recovering narcoholic, because that is your drink of choice, is that narcissist. And anybody that has either been discarded by a narcissist, specifically if you've been discarded by a narcissist, if they left you like trash on the side of the road, That is one of the most painful things you could ever possibly go through. It will lead you to want to unalive yourself. I know personal experience, and I know coaching how devastating that can be. But that trauma bond is what causes you to want to be with that person. And that causes you to want that drug. And there is studies, I'm sure you've heard this if you've researched narcissism, that it literally is like a drug to a person, and it is easier to get off heroin than it is to break a trauma bond. So yeah, narcoholic is absolutely the right term. It's devastating to go through that. Devastating, I don't have another word for it. And then when the narcissist decides to leave you, or you decide to leave the narcissist, which most people can't leave a narcissist. It takes up to 7 times to leave. Most of the time the narcissist does a reverse discard because they have to be the one in control. But when you leave, it's evil, it's hell. All of a sudden you're with someone who you don't recognize. They are treating you in such a way that is so alien to you, to the person that they presented themselves to be. It leaves you reeling. It leaves you doubting your reality, wondering if this person, who this person is, was this person, I mean, is this an alien of the person you were with? Is this person possessed? Like, you can't understand who this person is, and it's mind-blowing. And that's another big devastation on top of the trauma bond. Your brain can't process this person that you were with, who promised to love, honor, and cherish you, or said they loved you, or you had a family with, and then they turn out to be treating you horribly and saying things so bad to you and talking behind your back and painting you in this, after abusing you to a point where you can barely stand on your own 2 feet, then accusing you of being mentally unstable, an alcoholic, anger issues, whatever the case might be. And it is so hard to wrap your head around these things. And even when you go talk to a therapist, they don't know how to help you. Unless they've been through it themselves, they don't know how. They can tell you the theory behind narcissism and what have you, but for them to really understand what you're grappling with, being with this person, and then this person turning into someone else that, my God, that you never would have dated or married or had children with had you known this was actually who you were with, is just beyond being able to put to words. It's such betrayal trauma. It's betrayal of who you thought you had married. It's like suddenly they flip the script on you. They make all these, this is who you think you're getting, and this is who you think you're married to or have a relationship with. And then you realize this isn't this person at all. And that's such a betrayal. How dare you present yourself to me in such a way that I thought you were who you are not? How dare you do that to someone? But that happens all the time with these people. That is what happens. They're not who they present themselves to be. And then I want to talk about the costs of when this devastating abomination of a union falls apart. It goes on for years. They absolutely, I mean, your divorce may take years to get through. That's very common. Or if they found someone else, they rush it very quickly to get through. It's always a telltale sign that they've been cheating for quite some time and they've already checked out of the marriage because they were never in it to begin with, because they don't know how to love or connect. But nonetheless, it goes on for a very long time. The abuse, if you have children, it never ends. They go on to do parental alienation. They will go on to use money and vacations and houses and whatever they can to manipulate even your grandchildren. It'll go on into your grandchildren. And I've seen it over and over again. And oftentimes the only relief these poor children and families get is when the narcissist eventually passes. And sometimes even then, the damage is so severe that the hold even comes back from the grave. But I have seen many times where if these adult children or the ex-spouses can't get relief from, someone, it does subside when they do pass. However, like I said, the goal is to obviously not wait for that to happen, but to try to detach from them, try to do a program to get out of the the narcoholic situation. And that is for a whole nother video on different things to try to move past this type of trauma. And I will say, I will end with this. For those of you still struggling with this kind of fallout, you're normal. This is extreme abuse. You are dealing with complex PTSD. You're dealing with betrayal trauma. You're dealing with possibly still a trauma bond, and then you're dealing with parental alienation. This journey is not for the weak, and it's not even a marathon. It's an Ironman, and it never ends, at least not until possibly, well, let's just say that I know it is not easy, and thank you for joining me on my channel. My heart goes out to you if you're dealing with this, and I hope that you will think about joining my Tuesday night group. It's a great group of women, always trying to get more men to join. I do some coaching on Tuesday nights, and it's kind of a group coaching, but more importantly, it's a place where you can talk to other people who have gone through this and are going through this. And if you want more personalized support, I would love for you to work with me one-on-one. Until next time, Coach Shawn.